day, ladies and gentlemen. It's Eric Kaufman, HR Advisories. I'm here today with Mike Connor, CEO of Vizsla Silver. Vizsla trades on the venture VZLA and on the QB in the US, VIZSF. Vizsla reported a new set of holes from the Tajitos vein area on its Panuco project this morning. It's a pretty nice set of drill holes, and significantly, it's expanded the size of the zones, the mineralized zones, by quite a bit, and things look pretty wide open looking at the long section. You want to kind of walk us through the highlights here, Mike?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Eric. And we're incredibly impressed and excited about this. Not only the Tajitos vein area here, which has now been tripled in length since our last release. It's over 500 meters now in strike. But also, this is 500 meters away from the Napoleon vein corridor. And so this area, the western side of the Panuco district, is really shaping up to something quite impressive. And of course, we're very aggressive in our drilling there. We have 5 rigs in that area turning right now. So we expect some steady news from this area of the district. But today, is a great example. We're showing numbers in kilos, of course, from the Tajitos area. And a couple things stand out to me. One is the high grade nature. In hole 11, we see 2.2 kilos over 2.5 meters of true width there. And in that is over 6 kilograms of silver equivalent in just under a meter of true width. So some spectacular grades from this Tajitos vein area. Of course, we have some broader intercepts, 750 grams silver equivalent over 4.5 meters true width. But what really stands out to me about this Tajitos area and this drilling is that mineralization is open in all directions. And I think that now that we've tested and extended the strike of Tajitos to over 500 meters, there's the ability to both extend the strike further and a long strike at depth as well too. So it's coming together very nicely, and this is a great complement. If you think of these 2 vein corridors close to each other in this western part of the district, you think of the potential for significant mineralization here. So as I said at the beginning, we're very excited with these results.
Well, and assuming things keep going this way, and say the Napoleon Cinco Senores corridor, if you will, sort of becomes one of the primary production areas, how far would you have to move material from there to the mill that you would be purchasing when you complete this option?
Yeah, so this is probably about 10 kilometers as the crow flies. By road maybe 15. So it's not right beside it, but of course it's it's within certainly within trucking distance and nearby enough that it's meaningful for Vizsla. But it's interesting, you think about what it takes for a company to go and have to build a mill and bring power and roads. The roads exist, the mill's there, it's permitted, it's operating, and there's power lines that cross over Napoleon and run to the mill. So the upfront cost of doing this is finding this sets us apart from our comparables.
Yeah, no, I mean 15 kilometers is not a big deal in terms of road transport, especially for stuff with this kind of grades. Do you want to flip it to the long section? I think that would give people a good sort of pictorial view of where things are at right now. Now yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, the images that we use here, I'll point out a couple of things. It's not that we've pivoted into the psychedelic space. It's the purple is what's high grade there. So it looks, what stands out here to me, different colors. It's just the purple is GTs over 2,000 or 2 kilos silver equivalent. So just for the viewers to keep them with the purple is what we're doing.
Yeah, and you can see from this long section, I mean, the red dots are the ones that you reported this morning. And you can see there's two distinct, there's a deeper area, then there's an area on the
Yes.
southern end of it, or is that the northern end of it? Um, that
This would be north here.
Okay, on the southern
To the
end of
right.
it, that you can see that's just developing. It's three new holes there that are all quite high grade. Those are some of the best ones, but you've also got very high grade stuff to depth. And I guess as you move southerly in that direction, and the viewer should note there are several holes, sort of a diagonal line of holes just to the left of that left purple blob, if you will. Those are all holes that haven't been reported yet. They're completed, but they're in the assay lab. And I guess the area that you're in now, you've kind of moved away from the old workings. I don't know how much you even know about exactly where those workings are or exactly how big they are, but I know in some of your earlier drilling you were running into mining voids now and then, but I guess you're sort of away from that problem now. You've moved away from the workings.
Yeah, probably a good way to excuse me, look at this here. The whole 1 and 6, they have the asterisks beside the number, and those are ones that reporters that the mining void. So we're seeing actually true widths of 4.5 meters here at over a kilo, and that's including some of these are probably 100+ year old mine workings here, very old. And what they were targeting there, what they extracted was very high grade. And so we're now stepping away from these workings. We don't expect to hit any other workings as we step south and to the north. And we saw today that the extremely the 6 kilo numbers, there is a lot of high grade in this area, and we're seeing great widths too. Of course, hole 21B here, almost 8 meters true width of over half a kilo. So I'm these results are excellent here at Titos, and we're expecting more of the same.
Yeah, no, this is, I mean, part of the reason why I follow the stock and own a bunch of the stock, which I do, is the grade width combination that you guys have been delivering. Because there's tons and tons and tons of silver projects in Mexico where a lot of the grades actually base metals, whether they're reporting 200, 250 grams across mining widths or less. And I mean, for me, I want to see grades a lot higher than that in a silver project, and you guys have been delivering lots of kilo grades, and you also generate pretty good gold grades in a lot of these veins. I mean, I think Tajitos, I think the silver gold ratio is higher here, but you've got other veins where it's really quite impressive how high the gold grades are. I think that was a bit of a surprise when you started drilling it.
Yeah, I agree, and to your point about I suppose base metal miners in Mexico disguised as precious metals miners, we're definitely what we're encountering here. Of course, we don't have an economics report or anything like that, but what we can see with these grades here is that the economic minerals, as we report them, are made up almost entirely of precious metals, gold and silver and gold. So we're this is truly a precious metal silver dominant player.
Now this is one area that you're drilling, but of course, I think it's important for people to realize how busy you guys are. You got quite a few drill rigs going right now, right?
Yeah, and we actually included a new plan map here at the end of the release, and I think it's what I suppose what a message I could make here is that keep an eye on the Napoleon vein corridor. We've got 4 rigs on Napoleon, 1 at Tajitos. This is a very aggressive drill program right here at this area of the district, and so there's a reason why we're drilling so aggressively here. We think the vein corridors can withstand that and perform well, and the money that we're putting into the ground here in terms of drilling, we believe we'll have a high reward in terms of mineralization, and so. This area is really quite interesting. As I said, Tajitos, half a kilometer, 500 meters away from the southern portion of the Napoleon vein corridor. But we're drilling, pretty systematically across this this corridor and the Napoleon corridor. So I think this area really has a lot of legs to it, and we're looking forward to putting out a significant amount of news flow from it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that wraps it up for today. I know you mentioned to me before I hit the record button. I mean, Vizsla still has $20 million on hand, so money's not an issue. You got 7 rigs running. Obviously, there must be dozens of holes in the lab. We all know what's been going on with assay labs for the last few months. I'm hearing that that's starting to get better, like not a lot better, but a little better. But you guys must be delivering so much core to the lab that even though you're obviously going to batch drill holes when you've got 7 rigs running, you're not going to be putting in a hole at a time or even 5 holes at a time. But even so, I imagine we can probably expect to see drill releases every couple of weeks, give or take, going forward.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and you would expect, like you said there, we're kind of caught up, I suppose, with the essays coming up. It's a steady flow, so it's it's certainly a good time to be watching Vizsla Silver, and of course, we're a substantially better company than we were back in June, July, when we made that initial discovery hole, and we're half the price. So I think it's it's an attractive time to look at Vizsla Silver.
Yeah, it's pretty clear from this release, and I think we'll see it backed up with releases going forward, because we're seeing 2 or 3 of these quarters now where you're clearly building tonnage, and when you're running 500,000, 1,500 gram per ton silver grades, you don't need massive amounts of tonnage. I mean, really, if you look at other success stories at the high grade end of the silver space, they're completing feasibility and starting construction on operations where they're looking at a couple million tons. I mean, these things don't have to be huge when you've got these kind of grades. A couple million tons and you're off to the races easily. And you're building a fair amount of tonnage here. I mean, you just look at the one area you reported today. It's 500 meters long, a couple hundred meters deep, a few meters across. It's not all high grade, but there's significant high grade sheets in it. So those tons add up pretty fast. So yeah, I definitely think I think it's time to be keeping an eye on Vizsla, and I expect the company to push ahead and to it's not going to be too long before it's obvious to a lot more people that you've got a potentially economic resource here, especially with the way this is structured, where your entry price to get full ownership and a mill and permits and a tailings pile and everything is actually pretty low. So Vizsla Silver, if it's something you've been waiting for a pullback, well, you got your pullback in Vizsla and a bunch of other things. So I think now is a great time to be focusing on it. That's Vizsla Silver, VZLA on the venture, and VIZSF on the QB in the US. Thanks for coming by today, Mike.
Thank you, Eric.